My friend, today I want to sit down with you, slowly, calmly, just like two old friends sharing a quiet morning together. At our age, I'm sure you've had moments like this, when you look in the mirror and wonder, what is my body trying to tell me? What can I still do to live healthier, deeper, and happier? I've heard that question from so many patients, from old friends, and sometimes from my own heart. Because aging arrives gently, but its effects arrive slowly, so slowly that we learn to live with the fatigue, to accept a stiff back, to get used to holding onto a chair before standing up, to catch our breath after just a few steps. And one day, we realize we've started to equate the word aging with helplessness. But you know, the human body is far more extraordinary than that. I remember one patient, Harold, 67. When he first came to see me, he looked down at his slightly trembling hands and said quietly, "Doc, I don't think there's anything left for me to do. This aging, it's outpacing me." I put my hand on his shoulder and simply asked, "Who told you that?" He didn't answer, but in his eyes I saw something that many of us at this age have felt before. A quiet surrender. A fear that we're losing control. A feeling that the body no longer listens to us. But here's the interesting part. Science tells us a very different story. A story of hope. A story of restoration. A story that even at 60, 70, your body still has the ability to change if you give it the right signals, at the right time, with the right habits. I want you to imagine something. Your muscles, your bones, your cells, they are not worn-out machines. They're more like winter gardens, quiet on the outside, but ready to bloom again with just a little sunlight, a little warmth, a little care. I've witnessed this hundreds of times throughout my career. Legs that once felt weak begin walking with confidence again. Hands that trembled while lifting a cup start opening jars without help. Eyes that once looked discouraged light up as if they've grown younger by 10 years. And what moves me the most is the moment when someone realizes that they haven't run out of chances. Because once you understand even a little about how your body works, you'll see that health isn't magic, nor is it a privilege granted only to the young. It is a journey you still have every right to continue, slowly, gently, but step by step. Have you ever felt tired for no reason? Like your energy is sinking? Like you're no longer the version of yourself you used to be? If so, know that you are not alone. And more importantly, you do not have to accept that feeling as your fate. In today's video, I want to offer you a different way to see your body at age 50, 60, 70. Not as something declining, but as something quietly capable of rebirth. Not as a story of anti-aging. I'm not fond of that word. But as a story of partnering with your body, understanding it, supporting it, and giving it what modern science now clearly shows can help you feel stronger, more vibrant, and more deeply alive. Sometimes the changes are small, a simple morning habit, a new way of nourishing your muscles, a gentle shift in how you think about your body. But these small choices can open a door. And beyond that door is a new phase of life, a phase where you reclaim ownership of your health. You see, life doesn't pause at 50, and neither does the body. It's only whispering to you, "I'm still here. Give me a chance." And my purpose today is to hand you that chance. Gently, honestly, without noise or exaggeration. Just with the stories I've witnessed, the lessons that have touched me, and the science I know can help you feel better, not only in your body, but also in your spirit. So if you're watching this, allow yourself a moment to slow down. Take a deep breath and open your heart a little. Because just a few minutes from now, you may begin to see your body with an entirely new perspective. If you'd like, I can now write the body section, the emotional closing section, or adapt it to match the specific outline ideas you summarized earlier. Just tell me what you need next. You know, when we talk about health at 50, 60, 70, I often feel as though I'm opening an old book, one with yellowed pages weathered by time, yet filled with remarkable stories waiting to be rediscovered. And one of those stories begins with something very simple: a morning cup of coffee. I often ask my patients, when you take that first sip of coffee, do you feel your body waking up? Not just your mind, but deep inside, your cells begin to stir. Coffee activates AMPK, a little switch inside your cells that cleans up damage, reorganizes energy, like tidying up a room you've ignored for years. One of my patients, Linda, 72, once told me, "Doc, I thought my cells were too old to care anymore." I smiled. "No, Linda, they're just waiting for you to turn on the light." And that's exactly what coffee does in the morning, gently but powerfully awakening the repair systems inside you. But to truly move the body, you need a second spark, creatine. Many people think creatine is only for young gym goers, but no, it is the fuel for ATP, the energy source you use to stand up, walk, lift things, and keep your balance. At our age, ATP drains faster, and creatine becomes the charger for your internal battery. You know that feeling when your phone hits 5% battery? That small worry creeping in? Your body feels the same way. Creatine is the charger it's been waiting for. But here's where it gets even more interesting. When you combine coffee and creatine, your body doesn't just clean up and refuel. It starts remembering how to be strong. Science calls it muscle memory, but I prefer calling it something simpler, the memory of strength. I once treated a patient named Robert, 66, a former Marine. After years of being less active, he believed he could never regain what he lost. But after just 8 weeks of simple habits, morning coffee, creatine at the right dose, and light movement, his muscles began responding faster than he expected. One day he looked at me and said, "Doc, my body hasn't forgotten who I was." And I told him gently, the body never forgets, it only rests. But to wake up that strength, there's another truth you need to hear. After 60, your body absorbs protein much more slowly. If at 30 you could skip breakfast and still feel fine, at this age, timing matters. Your body needs the right amount of protein, at the right moment, for mTOR, the engine that builds muscle, to switch on properly. And the golden window? 1 to 2 hours after your morning coffee. I often tell my patients, mornings are when the body wants to build, not just be filled. And when you do it right, when your body is cleaned, fueled, and finally given the building blocks it needs, something incredible begins to happen. There's another simple thing I want you to think about: grip strength. It seems almost too ordinary to matter, but grip strength is one of the strongest indicators of your biological age. Have you ever tried opening a jar and felt you needed someone else's help? Or tried pulling a car door and felt a slight tremble in your hands? It doesn't mean you're weak. It means your body is asking for care in the right places. I've seen hundreds of patients regain their grip strength simply by rebuilding muscle properly, slowly, gently, but profoundly. Coffee's polyphenols reduce hidden inflammation. Creatine restores your strength. Protein builds the muscle back, and collagen strengthens the tendons and ligaments that hold everything together. All these small things, when combined, create what I call a younger metabolic environment. You're not rewinding time. You're giving your body a new kind of momentum, a gentle but powerful flow of renewal. And if there's anything precious about our age, it's that the opportunities we still have to enjoy, to feel, to move, to connect, become even more meaningful. I always ask my patients, how do you want to feel 10 years from now? Do you want to walk on the beach, lift your grandchild, open your own jars, or simply wake up without pain? Everyone gives the same answer. I want independence. And the beautiful truth is, independence doesn't come from magic. It comes from small, correct decisions repeated gently over time. Your body is still waiting for you to flip those switches back on. One day, one morning, one choice at a time. As we come toward the end of this conversation, I want you to pause for a moment. Just sit with yourself. Let your breath settle. Feel your body, not as something you're fighting against, but as something that has carried you through decades of storms. Joy, heartbreak, laughter, loss, endurance, and love. You know, at this age, people often talk to us about limitations, about slowing down, about accepting decline as something inevitable, something fixed. But I've spent a lifetime watching people surprise themselves. People in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who discover strength where they thought there was none, energy where they thought everything had dimmed, hope where they once felt resignation. If there's one truth I want to leave you with today, it is this. Your body is not done with you, and you are not done with life. Not by a long shot. You may move slower now. You may need more time to warm up in the mornings. You may feel aches in places you never even noticed in your youth. But the presence of those aches doesn't mean you've lost your chance. It simply means your body is asking you to listen more carefully, more compassionately, more intentionally. I once had a patient named Eleanor, 75 years old. She came to me with tears in her eyes, telling me she felt like she was becoming invisible, like her body was betraying her. She used to love gardening, but her knees hurt. She used to dance, but her balance felt uncertain. She used to walk by the lakeside every evening, but she no longer trusted her own steps. We started small, very small. A bit of morning coffee, a little creatine, a focus on protein timing, and gentle movement. 8 weeks later, she walked into my office, standing taller, smiling wider, eyes bright like they hadn't been in years. She said, "Doc, I'm not young again, but I feel alive again." And that's when I knew, once more, that age is not the enemy. Disconnection is. The moment you reconnect with your body, no matter how old you are, something beautiful happens. You begin to reclaim pieces of yourself you thought were gone forever. And I want the same for you. Not perfection, not some unrealistic promise of becoming 20 again, but the return of something much deeper, a sense of ownership over your life. You deserve mornings where you feel steady, days where you feel strong, moments where you trust your body enough to dream again, to plan that trip, to take that walk, to play with your grandchildren, or simply enjoy a quiet afternoon without feeling weighed down by fatigue. And if this video has given you even a small spark of that feeling, a hint of possibility, a whisper of hope, a sense that you're not too late, that your body is still capable, then I hope you'll stay with me on this journey. Because this channel, this space, is not just about health information. It's about giving people like you, people who still have so much life left to live, the tools, the understanding, and the companionship to live those years with strength, clarity, and dignity. So before you leave, I want to ask you something. Not as a YouTuber asking for numbers, but as someone who genuinely wants to keep walking this road with you. If this video touched you, if it made you think, if it made you breathe a little deeper or see yourself a little differently, please take a moment to like this video. Share your story or your questions in the comments. I truly love reading them. Share this video with someone you care about, someone who might need to hear that their body isn't done yet. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, not just to support the work I'm doing here, but to stay connected, to keep learning, to keep moving forward together. Because age may change the way our bodies move, but it doesn't change the fact that we are still capable of growth, still capable of strength, still capable of becoming. And as long as you're here, watching, listening, breathing, as long as your heart is still beating in your chest, it's never too late to begin again. Thank you for spending your time with me today. And until the next video, take good care of yourself. You deserve that care. You always have.